In this screencast, I will be highlighting the various features, techniques and designs map creators used to allow their maps to allow the player base to have a nice continuous flow throughout the game using balancing and various other techniques I will be including in this screencast. Before I go into the various reasons why the certain map layout, designs and techniques used within Counter-Strike affects the gameplay so greatly, I'm first going to give a brief description on what the game actually is. Counter-Strike does boil down to the very simplest of game mechanics, and that is 2 teams, 1 map, each teams are striving to win. How you do so depends on which side you're playing. The 2 teams being the CT side or counter-terrorists and the T side being terrorists. Depending on what side you're on depends on the overall objective of the game. The T's objective is to plant the bomb on a particular bomb site of their choice. If the terrorists or T side does actually get onto the bomb site they've decided to get on, plant the bomb and the bomb explodes, then the terrorists win that round. And the CT's is fairly simple. Counteract those terrorist players by using defences of their own, or if the bomb does get planted in certain scenarios, being either A or B, and defuse the bomb, in that case winning the round as CTs. So that's the overall objectives for the game. Now let's have a quick talk about the map layout. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the very basics of the map design itself and the very key features that players need to know in everyday game. A brilliant reference that alludes this topic is off the YouTube channel Extra Credits, where they released a video talking about map development and how the asymmetrical design changes as you walk through it. This is the clip now.
The players get to think through new tactical problems. Lines of sight are constantly changing, cover layouts change, height advantages change on different conflict points on the map. This is interesting for the player. It's what makes the game feel vibrant and alive.
One of these features in a bit more detail, the main points of action within the map. So as you can see on screen, there's an oversight of the map on Counter-Strike Global Offensive known as Cache. Now I'm going to be discussing the main points of action within this map that players have kind of found on their own, and I'm going to talk about the timings in which these players encounter other players. The main points of action are fairly self-explanatory. You have A main, you have squeaky, mid garage, B site main, and also vent if you want to count that as well. Now these main points of action are only the points of action due to the higher player fluctuation that enters these areas. I kind of struggled on vent because it's not too popular, however it's a great spot and it's also an entrance to B site, making it one of the main points of action on the map. All the points on the map which are the main points of action are sort of self-explanatory. You have B main or B tons, which I mentioned earlier, vents, which is also another part, and they're both main entrances to the bomb site B. You have squeaky door, and you have A main, which are the 2 main entrances to the bomb site A. And you have mid garage, and I guess you could class boost spot, because it is one of the main player interactions, as it's a highly used area to boost players over, by boosting you stand on top of each other's head, and you kind of get an oversight view onto the mid area itself. And obviously you get the counteracting parts on the TT side being car, top highway, mid garage, B main and heaven on the B side as well. Also if you want you could class vents as well, because you can also counter boost into vents. It's also quite a viable strategic approach to take the mid area, but that's going into too much detail. So now we're going to move on to the main simplistic design that Counter-Strike tends to follow when designing their maps. So again, keeping the image on screen, relating back to the CSGO map cache, it goes with the same idea of all the other maps. and that is the 3-lane theory. This asymmetrical design is used quite frequently throughout the maps on Counter-Strike. We have Cache, Mirage, Inferno, and these are just the 3 maps of many that have this 3-lane design idea. And what I meant by asymmetrical earlier on in this clip was it follows a symmetrical route, however with different changes and advantages to different sides depending on what site it is. The B site is more commonly known as fast approach to taking a site, the A site is kind of more strategic. The screenshots displayed on screen are a few descriptions of the various different types of asymmetric designs that are found on a website called Board Game Geek. Another main feature when talking about Cache and any other maps as it goes is that it has a wide range of PvP areas. What I mean by this is every single map encounters for different player experiences. If you want to go through Squeaky, you're going to encounter a close range, short range, SMG gun type battles. If you want to go over Boost or enter through Mid Garage, you're going to enter a lot of AWP, which is a sniper in CSGO, and a lot of long range battle. If you want to go through Vent, you'll probably see the same short range, trying to clear out checkers. And if you want to go through B main, probably going to be a medium battle, as goes for A main as well. I don't, however, feel this is a unique design set to CSGO. There's plenty of other games out there that also go for this mid, long, short range battles. It's a quite well used technique, and it just gives the game more variety in general. We are now going to talk about another feature within the map layout design, which is about the player's interaction with these certain maps. In this section I will be talking about various smoke executes, which is a huge factor of Counter-Strike itself when discussing team play. I'm just going to give you a few videos on setups within A site Mirage and A site Cache. Basically the overview on how these smokes are effective within the game is to cut off certain choke points that the CT side might be holding to try and counter the terrorists pushing the site in which they want to plant the bomber. For example, on this clip of the A execute coming over onto A site on Mirage, a smoke goes out top highway, a smoke goes out for the highway to car cross, and a smoke goes out for quad. These 3 points are the main 3 cut-off points that the CTs use to cut off the Ts from entering the site. When all the smokes are up, it makes it easier for the T sides to push without any disturbance from the CT players, and overall makes for a really good bomb site execute. Another main factor of the map design, which I incredibly like, is the fact that there's certain points on the map where you position your mouse cursor using different movements and jumps to allow the smoke grenades or flashbangs to go in a certain position, whether that be ricocheting off other objects, bouncing from high heights, or just the overall landing of a simple thrown smoke. I'm going to show a primary sourced bit of evidence from the gameplay I've filmed myself, from in-game footage of me setting up certain smokes for the bomb site Cache. So this has been my screencast on the map design and how it was created to benefit the players. If I was going to take away anything I've learned from this screencast, it's that if I was ever, or if anybody else is ever creating their own map, keep in mind the different variety of players that they're going to be encountering the map and the positions that you're creating, being short, long ranges. Cater for the different play styles, being passive or aggressive, and good luck.